Are we live, everyone? Is it running? Let me know if the audio works and everything. Things are going to be a little bit different for this stream. I'm in here to explain why in just a second, but let me know if the audio is working and all, and we'll move on from that and get into some other stuff that I wasn't able to get in before. And I'll talk about it here in just a second. But let me know, is the audio working? Are we good? Can we get this ball rolling? Yada, yada, yada. And we'll move on from that. But hello, everyone. Does everything sound good? Stream try 2. Electric Boogaloo. I love the new setup, by the way. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Ariel. Yeah, there is some things I want to be able to talk about here in just one moment. So I'm going to say one more time. Just give me 1 second to have everything set up for the stream and talk about a couple things, and then we can move on. Having said that, if you don't know, I'm at a new place, living at a new place. I have a new setup in the background. A lot of people have been saying in comment sections like, "Oh, you moved from the basement to the attic. Nobody must like you," or whatever. I just gotta say, sometimes when you don't have like a huge house and you don't got a lot of money and stuff like that, you gotta make do with what you got. And I've seen some personal attacks of people who don't like me sitting here saying, nobody likes you because you were pushed down to the basement at your previous place and now you're pushed up to the attic at your new place. So, you make do with what you got. And anybody who's lived in a basement before or tried to have a setup in a basement or attic, they understand that it can be very terrible for a setup or for whatever you want to do with your setup. But I've gotten very lucky because the basement was a good place, secluded away from the rest of my family because I lived with my parents previously. And now living in the attic in my own place, there's a ton of room up here and I can make it look like really cool, and it doesn't take away from the rest of the house if people actually wanted to know. But I know there's these personal attacks on people saying, hey, nobody likes you. You were pushed down to the basement at your previous place. Now you're pushed up to the attic. Clearly nobody likes you, TJ. And I've just seen a lot of that stuff. So it's whatever. Major Scaz, $2 super chat. Really appreciate it. Sup, my dude. I always expect some small little super chat from you, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Means a lot. At TJV, if it's okay with you, would it okay if I was in a VC with you and we go over what I sent you in DMs? If not, that's okay. I understand. I did see what you sent me in DMs, and we're going to talk about that here in a second once we get to more of the Ohmwrecker type stuff, because what you sent me in DMs kind of refers to that. I did look over it, though, and it's nothing that I need to read super. I've had that whatever you sent to me sent 1,000 times. I've read through it, the entire thing. It doesn't share anything new or bring anything new to the table. If you have thoughts about it, maybe, but we'll have to wait and see until that happens. But regardless, Mr. Yee says, I'm going to go take a nap, TJV. I will be watching this later. I so wish I could take a nap right now, but I know I have to do this and do all this stuff. So real quick, I will have clips cropped or chopped out of here to upload later. There's kind of a downside for right now because of a couple things. One, if you don't know, a day or two ago, I tried live streaming and the stream just screwed up. I could not get it to work. I restarted my PC. I restarted the internet connection. I restarted everything, and it wouldn't work. So my stream got fucked up, and I wasn't able to talk about the topics I did that I was planning on doing 2 days ago. So we're going to talk about those topics today and push back all the other emails. I gotten a ton of emails. You guys have been sending me a ton of emails. I really appreciate it. We got stuff to talk about for weeks now, and I applaud that. But please, if you have new relevant news coming out or something about, something that's happening actually in the world, feel free to send them and I'll squeeze them in here and there, but I will answer almost every single email that I can. And right now, since I'm small enough of a content creator, I can answer every single email that gets sent in. And if I don't receive your email, or if I don't talk about your email, try sending another one with a different question. Maybe the question was something I just didn't really want to talk about or do whatever. Hello everyone, thank you. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, Call Me Trent says, TJV, I really like you content, but you are milky this drama and is annoying. well, sorry, but it's sort of my choice if I want to milk it or not. Sorry, that's annoying, but if it's that annoying, you can find a different content creator to watch if you'd like. But if you're going to stick around, stick around. If you've noticed recently, I've only talked about it as like a topic on a stream, and I've been focusing on a ton of other topics. So, for example, like today, somebody sent in an email talking about the Ohmwrecker thing, so I'm going to address that later. But regardless, moving on, regardless, I tried streaming 2 days ago, didn't work, so I retitled that stream. I'm gonna take that clip out of there of me talking about that one topic, so we won't talk about that topic. The topic was pretty much about what should the name of your audience be. It should be something Yoshi related. So are we like the Yoshi squad? What are we? And so I pulled it up to the chat, and you guys came up with a ton of different names that involved Yoshi and TJV and all this other stuff. So I'll upload that as its own separate clip, along with the topics here. So you can expect that later tonight or tomorrow as separate clips, and I'll just upload all the topics as separate videos, just in case somebody doesn't want to watch me talk about the PlayStation versus Xbox thing and the Ohmwrecker stuff. If they want to avoid that, they can just watch the topics and clips later. So again, if you don't want to watch this full live stream, you do not want to be here, I am giving you guys that entire opportunity to do so. I know previously I've done live streams just straight constantly all fucking month and barely any videos, and I want to avoid doing that. I want to take segments out of this live stream as separate topics, and then that comment section is all about those topics and yada yada yada. So again, topics, live streams, they're going to be in the same live stream's going to cover all the topics, but then I'm going to cut out the topics as their own separate videos and re-upload them later. You might find that lazy, but some people really do prefer it, and I do want to just make everybody happy as much as possible. Somebody said, okay, bye, I don't have to watch this live stream. I guess you don't, but if you want to be here and have a discussion in the chat, you're more than welcome to stay as well. Cole Bizzle, $2 super chat. Merry Hanukkah, you shaved, hope you're doing good. Yeah, this was completely done by accident. I took like a 3-guard, and I didn't think a 3-guard would be so thin. It was incredibly thin, so I had to shave most of it, which upsets me. But I'm growing it back. Expect it in a month or so. It'll get back to kind of where I want, and I'll be trimming it along the way. So as you can see, I kind of already have that line, that good line going. I'm going to keep that going and make sure I have a great beard is what I'm hoping for anyways. But thank you. I appreciate the $2 super chat as well. Now, having said that, sorry for the bad English. I'm in class. It's alright. I really enjoy everything you do. I'm going to stay because you're the only drama channel I watch. Just all love. Oh, no, it's fine. It's just, I get a lot of the, you're milking the drama, you're milking the drama, you're milking the drama, you're doing this, you're doing that. I get that all the time, like every time. And it's almost as if people don't know that I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I talk about the topic a lot, okay? But just like a news channel's gonna talk about the same political figure for months and months and months, possibly even years. You know, when Donald Trump became president, CNN was talking about Trump every single day. It was something new. Were they milking that and that? No, people would say no, that's their job. They cover that sort of information. They cover that news. Some people are going to have that look at, oh yeah, they are milking it. They're constantly putting Trump in their headlines or whatever. View this however way you want. If you want to view me as milking it, I don't have a fucking problem. It's just the only thing I can really compare it to is a super, I guess, cited news source that is on one side of the aisle, but at the same time, you don't see politics into here. I try to keep biases out of this. It's just more of my opinion, and it's something I'm more passionate about. I'm more passionate about the Vanis crew. I grew up with them. I know a lot of information about them. I would say more than the average Joe that watches them, just because I was a huge fan of all of them, and I was very disappointed when I first heard about the Mini-Lad situation, and then more and more drama happening, and yada yada. I was actually first disappointed to see that Mini-Land Terrorizer were fighting, because that's the first piece of drama that I've noticed within the group and stuff. So again, just want to sit here. I just wanted to sit here and say that at TJV, give me $20. I need it for No Way Home. Sorry, bud, but I got my tickets, and every other bit of dime I have, I'm gonna buy a ton of popcorn, a ton of sodas, just so I don't have to get up and leave that theater. And I might even think about strapping a bottle to my leg just in case of an emergency. I was gonna wear a diaper, but then I don't want to smell that the entire time, so I'd rather just do a bottle and then I can like just yeet the bottle. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. Sorry, but every dime I have, saving it for all the snacks I might need during that movie. But yeah. There's a lot of questions coming in about like the Ohmwrecker stuff. Save them. We'll get to that topic here in a second. We got some other topics to cover, but I did want to say, if you didn't want to watch the stream, you're more than welcome to watch the clips later on and do it in the comment section. But if you want to be involved in the live stream, feel free to stay in the live chat, talk, yada, 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 all that stuff. And I'm going to do something a little different with this live stream. At the end of it, I'm actually going to open it up to all stream questions. Every single question that you guys have, I'm going to open it up to stream questions. I think I might choose one stream question or two to upload as separate videos. So if you have a question in the live chat that you would like to ask, I will upload it as its own separate video for a ton of other people to be able to comment, watch, like, dislike, do whatever. But if you stay in the live stream until the end, you might have a question of yours that will be featured in its very own video. $2 super chat from Baker Skies again. You look better shaven, my dude. Oh, well, I appreciate it. I am going to have the beard come back, but it ain't going to be as messy as I did before. It was like going over my lip. I had like the goatee area was really bushy, and this was really thin and kind of patchy here and there. The neck beard was just awful. Now it's really cleaned up. So I will try to keep up with it. I do want my beard though back. I miss my beard already. It is kind of nice not having food just left over in your beard, because I was really bad at that. I wouldn't even know that I have like water, like those water droplets in your beard, and then like, you know, my girlfriend or something would see it and then be like, yeah, you're messy as, you're a fucking pig, and I'd be like, oh, okay, sorry. That one really hurt. I felt so bad for Terrorizer. I did too. Yeah, the mini line and the Terrorizer drama. That's when I first started getting into it. And then ever since, I was like, hey, I'm passionate. I'm a fan about it. Maybe other people would want to hear a fan of them, of the Vanoss crew, talk about it. And that's kind of how I grew my channel. That's probably why 90% of you guys are even subscribed to me in the first place, is because you saw that I was some random fan or some person with an opinion about a member of the Vanoss crew, or an ex-member of the Vanoss crew, or something like that, or drama relating to that. And that's how it all started. You know, I was just a fan talking about it, and people were like, hey, you know, they kept coming back. They kept liking my videos, and it's a big, long story, but we'll get into more of that later on. First off, let's get into some topics here in just 1 second. I think the stream is better now, but what you'll notice is that the quality of this live stream is not up to 1080p like it was previously. There's two things that I really do need to fix. One, I just got to make sure I have the most updated streaming software that I can. So I use Streamlabs OBS right now, and I'm looking to change that, but for right now, it's going to have to do because I'm very familiar with it. And I want to stay on a good track. Maybe when I have a ton of videos to upload, or maybe if I take like a little Christmas break, you know, for a week, I will look into something. But I will be updating my streaming software so it's better all the way around. Expect the same layout, but maybe slightly different. All depends on how that ends up working. Second, I will be getting a new camera as well. It will probably be right in the beginning of 2022, so expect in the next 3 or 4 weeks, there'll be a new camera with a lot better of quality. A good friend of mine, Blake Chambers, he actually lives with me in this house. He has a really great camera for his streams, and I'm looking for something like that that has better quality than this. This is kind of weird, and I can see like my high quality version of the streams here, but then I'm watching what you guys are viewing and it's pixelated a little. That will all be fixed up and stuff like that if you're worrying about it on a technical level. But again, like I said, I would go out and buy the camera now. I would go out and do that, but I have to wait for the YouTube check to come every month, and you know, I got bills and all this other stuff to do. So don't mean to plug too many things before we get into a topic, but if you guys would like to contribute to that, instead of donating a super chat, which I appreciate, like Thunder, he just put a super chat, or becoming a member, or any of that stuff, if you'd like to contribute to that, there is a direct way for you to give me money to be able to go out and buy these things. There's two things. Either one, you can go down to my Amazon wish list and buy anything that would help me for the setup, or setups like more Yoshis for the background or whatever else. But what you can also do is go down in the description below. At the very top, it says tip here. And if you end up donating to the tip here link, I can cash that out tonight and go pick up a camera tomorrow. And if somebody does it completely, you can write your own name, a message, all of that. Whatever you put as a message, I want to be able to make videos on whoever's willing to tip, because that money's going to come right away compared to waiting a month or so. But I just wanted to point that out for anybody who would like to. I don't mean to plug too many things beforehand. So we'll get into the topics now. Let me read Thunder's super chat. $10 super chat. It takes you a mouth to grow a beard. Pathetic. Also, have a good live stream. I might do something else for Christmas though. These donos are getting old. Well, like I was saying, the tip link could be a good replacement, because I get that kind of instantly. And plus, whatever super chats you donate, YouTube takes a certain cut out of it, so I don't actually get the amount you're pudding, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. So thank you for the $10 super chat. And everyone, put the crown emoji in the chat for Thunder, because he is the official king of the live stream with the highest dono. I really do appreciate it. So everyone, give Thunder the crown, because he definitely deserves it. Oh, and you said month, not... I said mouth, you said month, so my bad. It takes you a month to grow a beard. Yes, it does. It takes me a little bit. So my bad. I know you said month after I read it, so my bad. But regardless, moving on, we'll get into our very first topic of the live stream, okay? And our very first topic comes from Carl Bainbridge. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Hope you're keeping well. You've got a great outlook on various events and media. Haven't seen you mention much about music, but with the great looking guitar in the background, well, thank you very much. Have you watched, I want to pronounce this right, Sabaton's new Christmas song video? So what he's referring to is this song called Christmas Truce, okay? And I wasn't going to cover something like this because it's just like a suggestion for a song or whatever. I prefer a mouth as a form of measurement. That's funny. So what this person is pretty much talking about is there is this video by Sabaton. I'm so unfamiliar with it, okay? I'm a new person to listen to this band, this group, person, whatever it's referring to. And I haven't really done much research into any of this, but I did listen to the newest Christmas song video and watched it, and oh my god, it is so dramatic. And I love every bit of it, and I that must be what it's going for and everything. But if I show it right here, this would be, you know, and it's like a 1914 like World War I-esque sort of thing. It looks like, and it's about. My history might be wrong, but it's about like this time where people went to war, and then during Christmas they actually kind of ceased the entire war, just like have meals and spend great time together and stuff like that. And then they went right back into war after Christmas time was over. It might have been Thanksgiving, it might have been whatever. But oh my god, that was so amazing when I first saw that. And I just wanted to give any recommendation to anybody, if you want to watch something new that you normally don't listen to, such as myself, or if you are familiar with this group but you haven't seen it, please check it out and, you know, hit that like button, do that. And I want to be able to do this where I can look at new things, because I'm always curious on learning new things all the time. One thing that I really zone in on is politics. I love learning new things about politics and like what I don't know about foreign policy and, you know, all the different types of economies and all stuff. That is my like interest, you know. I can watch videos about that for hours, you know, and it's kind of weird, but that's kind of like what I can zone into. For others, it's reading. They can read a new book all the time. For others, they can explore new music all the time. And some people can't. But if you're ever open or curious, check this out. I don't want to mispronounce the name too many times, but Sabaton, however you pronounce it, Christmas Truce. Watch this video. They have an animated story video, it looks like, but this one is just, it's insane. Put on headphones, full volume, you know, make sure you're alone, turn off the lights, watch it as if it's a movie, and then just take a look and tell me that you don't get chills. It's not even my type of music I listen to, but oh my god, it's so good. I showed my friend Blake, and I think he referred to it as like a Viking-esque rock. That was like the type of music it is, and oh my god, it's insane. Sabaton. That's how you pronounce it. Thank you so much, Tank Eyes 117. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I will send a link to it in the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, I will send you a link actually right now for it. I'm gonna put it in just the main general chat. I think it's let right now, but it was known as ping. I'll send it in there. So if you're in the Discord, go to the main general chat. You'll see the links there. I just posted it there. So if you want to be able to see it and you want a link to it, go there. But if not, look up Sabaton Christmas Truce. Look that video up. It's definitely worth taking a watch, I think. But regardless, yes, I wanted to sit here and just address that and talk about that. Just got here. What was the video? The video was just like I said, Sabaton Christmas Truce. That's pretty much. I just wanted to recommend that because somebody sent that in an email for a topic, and they wanted to know what I thought. Again, not my type of music, but holy shit, was that an experience that I watched. It was one hell of an experience, and not many music videos have that. I remember like when I first watched like there was the Battlefield game and they used like Seven Nation Army. That was like an experience to me. When I first watched like the Spider-Man PS4 game, the trailer for that was an experience. Watching like trailers come out after Comic-Con, that's always an experience. I remember the original Justice League trailer when I thought it was going to be good and then it turned out awful. That was an experience. And I got that kind of that vibe, that feeling out of this video. So again, I just want to pitch it to anybody who would like to take a look at it and stuff like that. But moving on, we'll get into topic number 2 actually, because we just covered the first one. This was going to be topic number 3 on the previous stream. But regardless, moving into the next topic. This next topic comes from Marky Mark by saying, first, I'm a fan of your channel and I'm a subscriber. My question, I don't recall anyone has brought up. If Ohm knew of all these allegations against H2O Delirious, why didn't Ohm do or say anything about it earlier? Why did he choose to wait until the crew he did videos with stopped playing with him? Seriously, if Ohm knew, why didn't he say/do something right away? Ohm isn't Mr. doing the right thing. He knew and didn't bring up the issues until his feelings got hurt. All these issues about the Me Too movement, and Ohm only cares about trying to ruin Delirious' career. But Ohm knew and didn't care about the person who Delirious had these allegations with. If Ohm cares about doing the right thing, he would have done so right away. So that question and topic is pretty long, comes from Marky Mark, but I appreciate it nonetheless. And what this brings up a lot is like kind of how it all started and stuff like that, and why didn't he say anything sooner? So all I can really say from the get-go, is like, you know, I can speak upon what I was experiencing like then, how big of a shock it was to me, and then I can speak upon like my conversations I've had with Ohm or Wildcat or Delirious or whoever in the group who has reached out to speak to me or say things to me, and then compare that and be like, okay, how did this start? Where is everybody standing at the current moment, and go from there. If you don't know, there was actually a little bit of a head start I had on the drama before I even spoke out about it. Wildcat reached out to me like several months before this drama came out, and Wildcat reached out to ask me to take down Ohmwrecker's videos, which if you watched my infamous Ohmwrecker interview, he brings this up going, why do you think Wildcat asked you to take down your videos about me? You know, because we were trying to work things out. So I'm here to talk about specifically in terms of the question and the whole drama, how it started, why it started, and then why did it start the way it did? And hopefully that'll answer your question on like why didn't Ohm come out sooner about it and all this other stuff, because I can only answer the best to the information that I know. If I could say more, I would say more. But I just simply don't know everything that is going on. I don't have an upper knowledge. I don't know everybody's side. Not everyone's spoken the truth. And how can you believe everything that somebody says to you as well? So, moving on. I believe this whole thing started a long, long, long time ago. And I think with any group of friends, you can find this anywhere. You can have a group of friends now, you can have it anywhere. But a long time ago, at some point, it switched to there was nothing wrong with this group of friends. They were all great friends. The views were going up. They had small problems here and there, nothing big. But it was a group of friends playing games, and that's when the clashing of multiple people, whether it's their egos or problems they had or anything else, we can all assume, okay, that's when it's starting. And you got to think, their egos are definitely going to play a part into it because they're all growing on YouTube. They're gaining millions and millions and millions of views and followers and all this stuff. They're making a ton of money. And then that's where you start to see, okay, now then there was separation here and there. People were joining in, and believe it or not, Ohmwrecker wasn't part of the original Vanoss crew. You know, he kind of joined in later. And that's true for some of the people as well. They weren't like the OGs. He wasn't the first person or anything. He kind of joined in, you know, not too much later, but at a later date than some of the other Vanoss crew members did. It's very unclear on when specifically this Ohmwrecker drama of him bringing up and accusing several members of the Vanoss crew and having problem is, but he did have a couple incidents where he was angry at Terrorizer for multiple things. He has called out Minilad for multiple things, and this is before the drama, and we're talking probably the year 2020, you know, safely to say where this could have started before then and all. But it was all leading up to Ohmwrecker was no longer playing with the group. Okay, and they had a bit of an absence, or he had a bit of an absence from the group and the videos and such. And Wildcat and Ohmwrecker have had conversations about possibly fixing things, and there was multiple people in this call, in this group or whatever, talking about, hey, we can have those commentary channels, you know, start taking down their videos. And the only reason why there was commentary videos on Ohmwrecker, and I was one of them who made one, is because of his comments. Now, I'm gonna bring something up real quick just to show you that this isn't me spitting anything out of my ass or anything. This isn't me trying to come up with more bullshit to talk about. This is literally me just trying to explain, like, you know, what kind of started even before this drama came out. And one of the things was Ohmwrecker, you know, he was having commentary videos made about him, and Wildcat and a couple other people were saying, okay, we can ask these commentary videos, or these commentators, to take down these videos, these drama channels, to take down these videos so he can start playing with the group again. Because it ain't a good look to have, you know, a YouTuber that's part of a group have a bunch of bad things said about them. It ain't going to be good for the group because the group's going to have comments about it, and it's going to take away from the entertainment and all. So, I'm trying to find it real here. My video specifically about Ohmwrecker, I made it a long time ago. It was right when, he commented on a video about Terrorizer, and Terrorizer talked about it during stream. It's right here. I just found it. So there's a lot of videos here, but Ohmwrecker started drama with Terrorizer. This was my video, and my video wasn't bad, like, by any means. Like, it's bad compared to my videos nowadays, but it's back when I had, you know, my original TJV logo. See if I can pull it up here. Right there's my original TJV logo. It's crap, but my video reached 200,000 views at the time, and there was a ton of people who were liking it. Here before Ohm comments on this vid, poor Brian, man. As someone who is a fan of Ohm, this is pretty crazy. Ohm needs to chill. So there was a lot of comments about Ohmwrecker is this bad guy, and that's kind of the viewpoint I had, because he was putting huge long paragraph comments ranting in a YouTube video that's not even Terrorizer's. Somebody uploaded a clip of Terrorizer's stream and put it on YouTube. And right here, it's I blocked Brian months ago. I didn't announce it, but Brian, despite claiming he hates drama, decides it's a good idea to go and share it with the world. And what it was is there was this stream, part of the stream that somebody clipped and re-uploaded, and maybe that was gaining views. I didn't see it with a lot or a ton of views at all. But it was a video somebody re-uploaded of the stream. He's playing like Mario or whatever Terrorizer is, and he speaks real quick about, you know, the drama that was being brought up on Twitter or whatever, saying he doesn't want any involvement. He even mentions the whole mini lad thing because that's what was going on at the time. And that ended up bringing up, you know, him talking about it in his stream, and then Ohmwrecker commenting on it. And hey, they all have the freedom to sit here and speak upon it. Now, is it a good idea for them to speak upon it? No, I don't even think it was a good idea for Brian to bring it up there in his stream, but he was probably brought it up because of a super chat, and instead of just ignoring it, he says, I don't want nothing to do with the drama, you know, and then he speaks his opinion real quick on it. I don't really blame Ohmwrecker for then speaking on his opinion here, but after this comment he made and a bunch of channels talking about it, it wasn't even a bunch, like, when the drama started up in May, that's when it became a bunch. This was like very few channels talked about it, and I was one of them with a video with hundreds of thousands of views about it. And Wildcat reached out to me on Twitter, like he did probably several other content creators that made videos about it, and Wildcat asked me, hey, would you be okay taking down that video? We're trying to work things out with Ohm. And that's all he said. He never said anything negative about Ohm. He never said anything bad. He just says, hey, we're looking to work things out with him and have him playing with the group again, and would you be okay with that? And I said, yeah, of course. So I privatized this video. But the moment the Ohmwrecker drama started up again, I remade this public again, because there was no reason for this to continue to be private, especially if it's going to be brought up yet again. And since I was being like drug into it here and there because I was having my own personal problems with Ohmwrecker, and there was a huge Twitter beef between us, if you don't know, I made the video public just so every record and every account that I've said about Ohm is out there in the public for anyone to dissect. I'm not trying to hide anything. So I remade my video public again. But Wildcat did ask me very nicely to take it down. He said nothing but nice things about Ohmwrecker, regardless of what Ohmwrecker wants to claim happened then. To me, Wildcat said nothing but nice things about Ohmwrecker at the time. And that ended up bringing up, later on, when the Ohmwrecker drama did start and I had my interview with Ohm, he claimed that they were doing damage control. They were cleaning up, you know, and they wanted me to be quiet about it and be close to the group again. And those were all the claims Ohmwrecker was making during the interview, and saying that's why he asked you. Why do you think he asked you to take down that video? He was trying to hide it all. He was trying to, like, get me all good with him again, and so I wouldn't speak up about anything. So the fact that Ohmwrecker is saying that, but at the time, Ohm was talking with Wildcat and the rest, you know, some other members of the Vanos crew about possibly coming back and working things out, I would assume sometime shortly after that is when the drama really, like, you know, the separation between Ohmwrecker and the rest of the Vanos crew is when it really started. And now it was just a matter of time of, is there going to be some sort of public statement that's going to set this all off? And it was made in the loudest way possible, but in the most stupidest way possible as well, by going to Drama Alert, going to Keemstar, where Keemstar ain't gonna take the time to properly look into anything, pronounce any of the Vanos crew's name right, not even pronounce Ohmwrecker's name right, by always saying Ohmwrecker, completely fucking getting shit on for every little thing he did, the way he titled it, the thumbnail he had, the way he edits. He severely cut out so many parts of the Ohmwrecker interview where even Ohmwrecker talks nicely about the Vanos crew. So Ohmwrecker one night was just talking to me in a VC about drama that I was going to cover soon. I wanted his side of it. I asked him as a side note, oh, by the way, about that Keemstar interview, there was a lot of cuts. Was there something cut out? And Ohmwrecker said yes, there was things that he should have kept in there that Keemstar decided to cut out because it doesn't fit what he wanted for the video. But there was some important things I did say, and some of the things were respectful, nice things that wouldn't have made Ohm seem like such a fucking idiot. So even Keemstar, like, you know, that's kind of where it really exploded even worse and made both parties look even worse than they could ever, is because who it came from and where people decided to go. So Ohmwrecker going to that. Now, Ohmwrecker claims the only reason why he went to Keemstar is because the girls he was talking to that were involved in the situation told him to go there. But Ohmwrecker's just as at fault for deciding to message him and contact him and do all that other stuff. So, so having said that, that's sort of how the drama would have started. It was a build-up of multiple things. There was issues between Ohmwrecker and multiple members of the crew. I was kind of involved before it started by Wildcat asking me to take down that video because there was a chance that they were going to work things out and start playing again. And then it never happened, and then it led to the Keemstar thing. And this Keemstar thing is where it really blew up. It got, the Drama Alert video got millions of views. Tons of people were going to dislike it. Keemstar blamed me for going to dislike his, thing or whatever. He says that I sent people to go dislike his video or whatever like that. I told people, if you think it's a shitty video, dislike it, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's the purpose of likes and dislikes. If you don't like the video, dislike it. 100%. And I'll repeat it until the day that I die. It's not against the rules to sit here and tell people what I think they should do and should not do. I'm not ordering people to do it, and nor am I trying to send people over to purposely dislike a specific video. All I'm saying is if you think it's a shitty video, then dislike it. And I said that. There was, again, this is where the mind of mine is just going to keep rambling about everything that happened. But getting more into what Marky Mark sent in, by the way, I love the name, by the way, what he was getting at is, why did Ohmwrecker say it when he said it? Well, it was probably because he was looking for a good time to say it, because, again, if I knew a ton of information about, let's say, PewDiePie, I wouldn't release it the second I know about it. If I found out, I'm just saying, for example, or let's say, for example, there's some horrible thing that Mr. Beast did or whatever, and I need to say something about it. I'm not going to say it 1 second, one and done, I'm going to contact people to make sure I'm in a good spot, I'm going to contact people to make sure I'm safe, I want to tell the truth about everything, and if I think a content creator is doing something bad, then I'm going to want to speak about it, but I got to make sure I'm in the right spot to do it as well. So again, is it simply just because, Ohmwrecker, was waiting for the right time to strike or waiting for enough information to get at him? It could be, but at the same time, I do believe it has a part to play, and you need to be prepared for this. And this is a group he's been playing for a long time. I'm sure maybe Ohmwrecker did try to work things out at some point, but it fell through. Maybe he was very stubborn to work with, and, Wildcat and the rest of the crew said, fuck it, we ain't playing with you anymore. And that's what happened. Regardless, I do think it is very, very important that people do need to take all of this into account and say, what happened in the past happened in the past. What is a good thing to do moving on? I think the drama is starting to calm down more. Will it come back? Of course it will. It'll keep coming back until there's a definitive thing. There's still EDP445 fucking drama going on, and isn't he kicked and banned off every platform? Sorry, but it's stuff like this that I want to be able to definitively say, you might be worried about how everything started, why it started, all this stuff. There will be great videos down the road where people will make full documentaries about this shit and full essays about everything. And when that video is made, it'll be great. But what does need to be taken into account is that it started because, well, I'm not going to speak because I don't really know, but how it started and when it started, we kind of have a good rough idea. But as time goes on, there might be more information that comes out. Maybe after me talking about it in the stream, there's going to be a member of the Vanoss crew or Ohmwrecker or somebody else who wants to say something about it, being like, hey, just to let you know, it actually started here, not there, or whatever, because that happens a lot when I end up talking about any drama situation, especially if it has to do with the Vanoss crew. I always get a message afterwards, correcting what I said, or giving more information that I just didn't know when I was speaking upon it. And if that happens, would you guys want to know? That's the question. So if I were to get more information, would you guys even want to know? Or would I be accused of the same, milk in the drama sort of thing? And the only reason why I say it is because people, want to say, I want to move on, but at the same time, this is a very interesting thing to cover. And if you want to move on from it, you have every right to move on from it. But when I say there's new information, I'm not lying when I say there's new information. But at the same time, people are like, oh, that's small. That's nothing. And I'm like, I get that. but would you guys still want to know that or no? You know what I mean? So like this email criticizes saying, why didn't Ohmwrecker come out and speak about it? Well, I get that, but when other people come out to speak about the situation, they're accused of milking the drama and continuing things, and you know, you're creating drama. And I'm like, well, what do you want us to do? Do you want some people to come out here and say everything, but then others say no? I mean, yeah, it's kind of an issue. Somebody in chat, not my name, says it's nice to be updated on what's going on. People said they will stay neutral, so they need to be informed when information comes out. And I agree. I do think it is. At TJV, if you reported on more new major developments, then it would be perfectly fine. But as there is nothing new, these streams do get quite bland. Well, again, like I said, the information, you know, I don't control the information, and I'm not going to sit here and blow any information out of the water as if it's huge. If Ohmwrecker literally sits here tomorrow and says, I haven't thought about Delirious, am I going to make a big headline saying, oh, Ohmwrecker speaks on Delirious? What he said, oh, I haven't thought about Delirious in a while. You know what I mean? I'm not going to blow anything out of the water. So if it seems bland, it's probably because there's nothing fucking new. But if there is something new and it's just something small, it's still going to make everything seem bland. And that's the thing. That's where commentators have to make a really good decision. I know Chilled Venom has probably went through this before, Crow, Sen, all of them, where they have to make a decision on what they talk about. Is it worth even engaging and talking about if there's not a lot of new information? And it's something that we're just going to have to wait and see. But regardless, Mark, I just wanted to say, why didn't Ohmwrecker come out sooner? All that stuff, that is to be unknown, really. But all we know is when and how this all came to be, you know, roughly. And then why is still up in the air. I hope that Ohmwrecker is able to do more interviews in the future about it, and I'm hoping Delirious or anybody else who is willing to talk about it, to be asked questions about it, and maybe there'll be some new information. Maybe we'll find out more about what happened in the past and how it leads to now, or things in the past that might make sense, or things in the past that don't make sense but actually are true for some reason, and that could change the outlook for everything. So just keep that in mind. Chilled Venom says, thought Ohm types a lot. I got it covered. I am mentally stable. Though Ohm types a lot, I got it covered. All right, yeah. But yeah, we are hoping eventually to have, you know, more statements and more information. But again, how much more information can we have? I think everything is being sent to the authorities that have. Everybody, you know, Delirious and Ohm are going to have a legal battle, it seems like. And both sides are remaining to stay neutral. They both don't want to look terrible in this situation, but what are they going to say? What are they going to do about it? You know what I mean? So we just have to wait and see. Wait for more information. As far as I know right now, it could be a big waste of time to constantly talk about it. But if there are more questions, I'll try to answer them. If they seem like very simple questions, I probably won't cover them in the topic. But this question, you know, how it started, it was a nice little revisit back to it. I think right around the 1 year anniversary of it, like this May or whatever, if the drama's completely died out, I'll revisit it. But if we're already talking about it at the time, I might just mention when that time comes, like, hey, let's reflect on what happened 1 year ago on Drama Alert, because that's really where this started ballooning bigger and bigger to different heights and stuff. And that's something to take into account. Not sponsored, by the way. Neither is this, but that is some good root beer, though. All right. Regardless, that was the topic. If you have any more questions about it, stick to the video in the stream. I might take a couple questions here and there, and I'll make one of those questions into a entire separate video as well. So stick to the end. But moving on to the third and final topic of the stream, it gets sent into us by The Real Philly Phil, saying, hey TJV, I wanted to get your opinion on something that has been going around the news from Bloomberg. Apparently there will be an upgrade to PlayStation Plus coming in spring of 2022, which will have 3 tiers. Wanted to get your opinion and wanted to see what the stream thinks about this. Well, thank you really much, Phil, for sending that in. So yeah, I will cover this as best that I possibly can. I don't know all the information about it, but what I can do is read an article and repeat and give my thoughts and opinions. So what basically is going on here is PlayStation is having plans on this new service to end up going against Other things such as like Xbox Game Pass, okay? And there will be other stuff. I will read this article specifically real quick just to show you guys what this will all be about. Right here. So pretty much PlayStation Plus has this thing where, you know, you're going to be paying for it, doing whatever, and you're going to have a different tier thing, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and all this other stuff. I think he outlines it very good, Phil does, in the email. And I'm going to read off of that real quick, because that was done really, really well. Let me find it real quick. Okay, right here. So tier 1 is standard PlayStation Plus, online access and monthly games. If you're familiar with PlayStation, that is what PlayStation is, okay? Think about it. I don't know if this is going to be any better comparison, but any younger kids, it's like the Fortnite, you know, the Battle Pass, you know, you're going to get your stuff, you know, you pay monthly for it or whatever, and then you get whatever out of it, and all the other good stuff. But for PlayStation, you can't even play online without paying for PlayStation Plus. I mean, you know, you kind of have to do that. I mean, I think there's loopholes for certain games or whatever, but you need PlayStation Plus. Just like on Xbox, you needed Xbox Live and stuff like that. Now it's Xbox Game Pass. So PlayStation Plus, that's something. Tier 2 is everything in Tier 1. So you get the online access and you get the monthly games. But then you get some of the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 library of games and other stuff like that. And then Tier 3 is everything of Tier 1 and 2, plus access to PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and PlayStation Vita titles. So, what this has to pretty much do, and I'll read specifically more into this article right here. Right here, it is outlined to say, details on Spartacus may still not be finalized, but documentation reviewed by Bloomberg outlines a service with 3 tiers. The first to include existing PlayStation Plus benefits. The second would offer a large catalog of the PlayStation 4 and eventually PlayStation 5 games. The third tier would add extended demos, game streaming, and a library of classic PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and PSP, PlayStation Vita games. Representative from PlayStation didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Although PlayStation has outsold the Xbox in recent years, Sony has lagged behind Microsoft on the subscription front. With this new structure, Sony will look to compete with an Xbox feature that has been popular and lucrative. Sorry about the grammar, but lucrative. So, what does this pretty much all mean? Well, it pretty much means you're going to spend more money and you're going to get more stuff, I guess. But the stuff that you're going to get, some people might not even really care about. Like, for me, I don't play that many games. I'm not a huge gamer, okay? But I'm more closer to the average consumer, I would say, on how they're going to do that. Now, is the average consumer going to be the vast majority, or is there going to be a big, strong, you know, group of gamers that are going to be buying these? So this is how I've kind of figured that the PlayStations are outselling the Xbox by a ton, okay? The PlayStation systems have gotten better and better and better, while the Xbox has kind of been trailing behind. Now, are they both still great systems? Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, come on. We've moved far beyond something like the original Wii. I remember when the Wii came out, and I wasn't blown away by it. I mean, I was because of the games and stuff like that, but it wasn't that great of a system at the end of the day. But it's still going to be a huge memory, and I'm going to still have all those games in mind and everything. And I do think that at TJV, tiers 2 and 3 offered backwards compatibility. So what I'm getting at is, as the consoles are outselling for PlayStation's outselling those consoles and the games and all this other stuff, the subscriptions are kind of the other way, where Xbox has like the, you know, top subscription. And I think where that has to do with is that PlayStation 3, I remember specifically on the PlayStation 3, I would connect to the internet on PlayStation 3, and you didn't need PlayStation Plus. You could play for free. You could play online for free. All you had to do was buy your console, controller, and your game. Now, you had to do all of those for the Xbox, but you also had to pay for Xbox Live. And that was the big difference between them, is that, you know, the Xbox, you had to pay to play online, which was so dumb at the time. I remember thinking, like, I'll never own an Xbox. And then as time went on, PlayStation started doing the same thing where you have to pay online to even, you have to pay to even play the thing you just bought. Now, can you play offline? Yes, you can, okay? And that's pretty much what you're paying for when you pay for a game. You're paying for, offline until you get PlayStation Plus. But I do think it is very important to have, I do think it's very important to make the difference that right now, the huge thing that's happening, especially in the world of entertainment, is subscription. Everything is subscription based. You're going to end up paying monthly, and how much these companies or a product can get monthly matters. So it's no longer mainly about, I mean, yes, you're still going to have the big consoles come out. Yes, you're still going to have these games come out that are going to be $60, $80 a game or whatever. You're going to get these $500 consoles or whatever. You're still going to get that. But the big money seller, what's going to make the money for fucking years, almost a decade after this whole release of the PlayStation 5, is PlayStation Plus. That's what's going to make them their money. And that's kind of what their goal and how they're going to view this, what their aim is. It's going to be on PlayStation Plus. It's going to be on that subscription. That's what Disney Plus is doing, subscription based every month. Hulu. YouTube has YouTube Premium. There's Spotify. There is, Netflix. The list goes on and on and on. Google has something for Google Drive that is monthly subscription base. And that's what it is. Even YouTube and Twitch are moving to that. Twitch has been in that game. YouTube now, you can become a member monthly and pay monthly. You can now do a monthly payment for YouTube. So if anybody in this chat would like to become a member, you can pay monthly, and that's a subscription-based payment. And that's what PlayStation is going to probably be focusing more on. Honestly, reading all these details, I like it. Now, at the end of the day, do I really like it? No, it kind of pisses me off that I have to pay to play online, okay? I like, I have a computer. I don't have to pay to play online. I got to pay for my internet, but I don't have to pay any additional services to play online Fortnite or Rocket League online, or if I wanted to go play Forza Horizon 5, or if I wanted to play Minecraft online. I don't have to continue to pay extra to get access to the internet. You know what I mean? I just got to pay for my internet. I got to pay for my electric bill, got to pay for my computer, and anything else here that I want. But I don't have to pay to access the internet like you do on these other consoles. And that's why I kind of moved away from consoles. Now, am I intrigued? Yes. Do I want a PS5? Sure. I'm probably going to get it eventually once I can get one. But PlayStation Plus is going to be something where I might do a base-by-base thing. If I'm finding a lot of fun with it, I'll set it up for like 6 months. I'll get 6 months of PlayStation Plus. But other than that, though, it'll be a month-by-month thing. If it's like $10 a month, I will pay $10 a month, 1 month at a time, and it might fall off. Maybe 1 month I'll be like, it's not really worth it. I'll just play my games online and go from there. So the subscription, though, the subscription payment every month is going to be what a lot of every corporation, every business is going to try to eventually end up moving on, because that is going to be guaranteed, profits or, their financial gain or loss. It's going to be guaranteed every month with a subscription base. And once they have the ball rolling in like Microsoft, where they get so much money from like Xbox Live, Xbox Game Pass, whatever you call it, you don't really have to worry about too much of what the product you put out, or you do got to worry about it, but it ain't as much of a stress. So you ain't worried about new games constantly coming out. You're not worried about every little thing that you're going to end up selling for the month to reach your quota. It's going to be more, okay, people are going to pay online for the games that we have existing. Now we can focus on the quality and craft, or at least that's the way it should be. Not all games and not all plans work out that way, but it does ensure that companies don't have to have certain deadlines so that Xbox can make some more money on this Xbox exclusive game, and the deadlines don't become so much of a problem to the quality of the game. And I think we will probably eventually end up seeing better quality games out of this, and it will have a major effect on it. Not saying that at all, but I think it will. This subscription, moving it to this to play online, it will help overall. And I do think that it is very important that we all take into account what the benefits are. What you get out of Xbox Live, what you get out of Xbox Game Pass, what you get out of PlayStation Plus, and all these other things. And I do think PlayStation Plus is offering a lot of great things. Access to the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, PSP, and PS Vita titles for Tier 3, that's great. You get to access all the games you've played. If you've been a PlayStation Sony fan for a long time, you get to play a lot of the games you used to play. That's a good Tier 3, I think. Tier 2 is you get some of the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 stuff, and then the standard online with some monthly games. That's fine for Tier 1. It's, I think it's better than just having to pay for online access and then you get nothing. So adding some games on top of the first tier, whatever, nice. Tier 2 being, you get to play some of the previous console and this console, PS4 and PS5. There you go, you got those games. And then if you get Tier 3, hey, you get all of the games that have ever existed on a PlayStation title. Probably not every game, but a lot of titles and games is what it's hinting at. Now, when will this come into effect? We have no idea. It's looking to be in spring of 2022, so we'll have to wait to see more information about it. But if you guys find any more information about that, please feel free to send it to this email at TrevorGeneValentine, and I really appreciate the question. Thank you for sending in the question. Now, having said that, having to talk about that, I will open it up to questions for you guys. Feel free to send in any sort of question in the live chat that you guys would like to send in, but if you guys want an entire video or an entire live stream with your topic, send in a topic or question to this email. And make sure you get the email correct, every character correct, or I will not receive the email. But feel free to send in a question if you'd like to save it for another live stream. If not, feel free to ask in the live chat real quick. And then I'll sit here for a little bit and talk about stuff. Kind of like how these streams have been getting down to being an hour, being more compressed. It's a little bit more bite-sized for people. But I'm still going to be uploading clips of individual topics here soon. But yeah, I really do appreciate everything. Thanks, man. That was fun. Yes, it's really fun. Again, I love talking about these sort of things. I do, and there's so much more that I'm happy to talk about than just drama. But again, at the end of the day, it is just something that I do need to take into account. When am I going to decide to talk about? And as long as viewership is coming here and there, and super chats are coming here and there, and all this other stuff, I'm happy. I'm completely happy. So yeah. At TJV, don't mean to be a bother, but I am set for when you want us to go over what I sent you. Yes, we'll cover that at real quick. Mountain Dew or energy drink of choice. I would not go with Mountain Dew. I'm only drinking Mountain Dew because it's what was left over of my girlfriend's. That's the only reason why I'm drinking it, just so it doesn't go to waste. But energy drink, I would go with. I would definitely go with the energy drink. But what energy drink? I'd probably go with Monster, but I would also go with a Rockstar because I like Rockstar too. I know Rockstar people have said it's just like off-brand Monster, but I do like that. No Owl Kitty video for today, but I will be doing a live stream Friday. Yes, Friday, because tomorrow's Thursday. There'll be some clips up tonight. There might be some clips, or all the clips will be up tomorrow. Friday will be the next stream. Focus on Friday, there will be an Owl Kitty video. I'm sorry, but no Owl Kitty video this time. TJV meme stream would be fun. No fucking way I would do a meme stream. I would do a meme stream if it was to make fun of Mini Lance meme streams. I would do it, but I mean, okay. If I can do a meme stream where you guys control the memes, that's one thing. But I'm not just going to go search for a bunch of memes and then fucking stream them and do all that shit. And I get that's kind of what Miniland is doing and stuff, but I don't know. I want to wait for a bigger audience so we have more variety of meme. And I only want the top people who really know their memes to send shit in. Like, that's it. That's all I want to be sent in. Thank God that's over, because I did not like that Mountain Dew at all. Listen to this while going through colleges. What an interesting Wednesday. Yeah, it is interesting. TJV, are you planning to make any more short films? I did see your question or topic that you ended up sending for that, Uni. I will save that for another topic. But yes, I have some plans for some stuff. Again, I'll save it for your topic on Friday, because I think I'm going to cover your email that you sent in on Friday. TJV, would you accept artwork from your fans? Yes, we have an entire art channel in our Discord, in the Discord about it and stuff like that. And people have tweeted it at me. People have sent it to me through email. You can send me any art that you have through email. I'm going to say that too. If you have art to show for the next stream of something to do with me or the Yoshi or anything, send it to this email, and I will feature that in the beginning of the live stream, because that would be something really cool to show every single live stream. So I'd be totally down for that. Mountain Dew is nasty. I totally agree. At TJV, Mini Lad interview. All right, I do got to say one thing. So, do you guys all know Mini Lad's return? You know, to like the Craig Thompson channel, the vlogging channel or whatever. Do you guys know about that? I'm gonna wait for the chat because I kind of want to know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. The Craig Thompson channel he had. He came back with some vlogs. They were kind of Mr. Beast styled looking videos. He went to the desert, hung off a cliff. You know that return of Mini Lad. You know that's sort of the big return to Mini Lad. So the cameraman, the guy who did like the roller coaster thing with him and tried out the different foods, that person, I forgot their name. I have it on Twitter and stuff like that. He's taking a trip currently, but he said right before the trip, if we could work it out, he would be fine if I gave him an interview. So I was going to interview him because he worked directly with Craig Thompson, and I just had some questions about his experiences with Craig Thompson and how he feels about the situation. And he ended up leaving. So he's not in a spot to be able to do an interview, but if he is wherever he's at, or when he returns in a couple months, I will be able to do an interview with that person. I'm going to pull up the actual person's name because I don't want to like have this confusion or anything, but I did send an email out. AP, his name's AP, okay? And he ended up moving. I don't want to leak anything, but he ended up moving somewhere for a few months and stuff like that. But this was something that I talked to him about, I would say a month or two ago, about 2 months ago. I think a month and a half ago is when it was brought up. He ended up watching my live streams, and I was talking about Mini Lad, I think one stream or something. He goes, "Hey, I worked with Mini Lad," and I was like, "Oh yeah, shit, you did." So he reached out to me on Twitter, followed me on Twitter, and we had conversations, and he's totally down for me to do an interview with him. So eventually, AP, I'm gonna end up hopefully having an interview with him and talking about his experiences with Craig Thompson. If they're positive, great, you had positive experience with him. Now, what do you think about it? And if he's open to those questions, that'll be fine. I'm going to be honest with him on what kind of questions I'm going to ask, and if he wants to say, nope, I don't want to answer those questions, I will respect that. But I will also be open on what questions I offered and what questions ended up being in the video, and then you guys can just picture what questions he was okay with answering, because I am going to be honest about that. So, Mini Lad's still doing his meme stream shit that I have not talked about in a while, but I will eventually get back to doing. But AP, his cameraman on his Craig Thompson channel, that is something to bring up as well. And that I'm kind of interesting. You a GTA 5 fan? Not really. I tried playing it. Wasn't my cup of tea. Sorry, but it wasn't. TJV, do you prefer sushi or soups? Ooh, soups. There, Olive Garden is here. There's this chicken gnocchi soup. So good, so good. Soup is the only thing that's on my mind right now. Sorry. At TJV, what Japanese food have you tried other than ramen? There was this friend of mine. I was doing this financial research project for college, and it was to study finances and stuff. And there was this person who's been very successful, and my friend knew the person. He was related to him somehow, and I ended up going over to that house to talk to him about this project I was gonna do, and he was cooking up some like some really nice sushi and squid and some other stuff. Then I was like, I'm just gonna ask my questions and then leave because I'm afraid to try it. And I actually ended up trying it, and it was pretty good. I don't know exactly what it was, but I've had other, like, there was like 2 different types of sushi, some fish here and there, and uh, some squid, some octopus or squid or whatever, and it was good. They have this really nice, like, tan colored sauce. It's like this orange, brownish, tan, gold colored sauce. I don't know how to describe it, but it's so good with almost anything. I like that. It's almost like teriyaki, but it's not teriyaki sauce. But that's what it reminded me of, at least. So yeah. Um, Disney Plus, Discovery Plus, or Paramount Plus. All the pluses. Yes. And you forgot ESPN Plus. There's ESPN Plus too. Honestly, Paramount Plus has it a bit above Disney Plus for me. And the only reason why is because, well, I appreciate the amount of variety that Paramount Plus can offer. It has all the Nickelodeon stuff, which is like a direct competitor to a lot of Disney stuff. But at the same time, it has all those like adult films that you would want to watch, the action stuff. I appreciated like the iCarly series coming back to be more mature, and I actually liked watching the iCarly series. And if you have not seen it, please give it a shot, because if you used to watch iCarly or you hated iCarly, give it a try, because you might feel different. You might hate it, you might like it, but give it a shot. I watch a couple episodes or watch a couple clips online and tell me what you guys think. But it's a bit more of a mature show, and watching them in full, they're actually not that bad, I think. So I think I'm going to give Paramount Plus the slight advantage, just out of personal preference. Which one's obviously better? I would say Disney Plus is the best. But yeah. I believe what you had is fish sauce, which is good. Again, I don't know what sauce it was, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on Smitty and Cryos being the same person? It's a little freaky because I mean, I've seen vlogs where they're in the same place, and it's blowing my mind. But I think that's just their bodies like splitting and like growing limbs really quickly, and they do that to disguise the fact that they are the same person, because you don't want to reveal that Cryos owns both channels, you know what I mean? But I think Cryos is the sole owner, while Smitty is like another personality that Cryos has. And when they're in the same room, they're both Cryos, but also Smitty. And when this happens, it's confusion. But there's a scientific reason for everything. Cryos and Smitty are the exact same person. Anybody who wants to say otherwise, I disagree. And you should just get in a boat and fall off the edge of the earth, because the earth is flat. So, 2TJV, have you ever watched Sonic the Hedgehog movie before? Yes. I will say, it is a great movie. For like 5 minutes. I would say the very beginning, where Sonic is in his own world, but then ends up in this world with all the humans, it takes a big turn. I will say it's a good movie with the Jim Carrey bits. Jim Carrey makes the movie great. I like the Jim Carrey. It's a perfect character for him. And this is a great kids movie. The main actor, whatever his name is, don't care for. Same thing with the main female actress, don't care. Sonic, I like the redesign, but there is parts where the visual effects are kind of... and I wouldn't have done it that way, but overall, the movie did turn out okay. I think the third act is a bit weak. The first and second act is where you're going to have probably the most fun. But I don't really get why Sonic feels the way he does. Honestly, I don't get why the characters are willing to sacrifice their lives for this blue-balled alien. I don't know. I get it. It's like in a fantasy world and they'll do anything, but just because somebody is like bad at something, or they'll do like they're terrible at something, and that's like the problem of the movie, I don't find that as a good. There has to be some other problem that comes up in the world, and having Jim Carrey's character play more of a role in the movie and more of a role with the other characters rather than, oh, I'm just going to chase you down. Didn't catch you this time, going to chase you next time. Oh, didn't catch you this time, I'm going to get you next time. It's like back and forth cat and mouse type stuff. And it honestly, I'm literally nitpicking a kids movie, but this is sort of what you asked for. Yes, I've seen it. It's okay. I would watch it maybe once every 10 years, but nothing more than that. Yeah, I've seen it once, and after that, I didn't really want to see it again. So sorry. Sorry if you liked that movie. I didn't mean to completely shit on it, but you had me there for a minute. Yeah, I said it is a great movie for like 5 minutes. Yeah. Loneliness can change how you interact. Trust me, I know. The bar fight was cool. No, don't get me wrong. There's like moments that like I appreciate. Like the bar fight, cool. The running up and down the building, cool. The very ending where he's, Mr. Robotnik or whatever, he's fighting him like head on and stuff like that, cool. The baseball diamond where he's spinning really, really fast, cool. His little cave that ends up getting destroyed, cool. But like at the same time, you can't just keep throwing like, because you're gonna get used to all that, and then by the time you get to the bar scene or the third act, you're like, you kind of already did this, like it would be like if you saw Captain America throw his shield for 2 hours straight. You'd get sick of it 10 minutes in. You'd be like, okay, he's been throwing his shield constantly. That's what I liked about the X-Men movies, what they did with Quicksilver, or even what WandaVision did with Quicksilver, or Avengers Age of Ultron did. They gave us bite-sized bits of this like super speed, this awesome power that we all wished we had. And the bite sizes is what makes it great. X-Men Days of Future Past does it absolutely amazing. They gave us that little middle section of the movie with the bite-sized pieces, and then as the movies went on, yes, the it was still cool, but it became less and less important because they gave us less and less of those bite-sized pieces, and it was like, okay, here's a scene where he goes fast, have fun, and like it's just a lot all at once. I think bite-sized pieces, and making your audience want more is better than giving your audience too much. You don't want to give them that fatigue. You want to have that desire from them that they want more, and I think that's kind of where the Sonic movie kind of screws up. Like just. It was too much, okay? At least for me, but that might just be me. TJV, favorite Disney movies? Favorite Disney movie? I'm thinking of Disney TV shows right now for some reason. I like Hatching Pete. Does anybody remember the Hatching Pete? No, maybe not. Okay, Hatching Pete. So that was a movie that not a lot of people know of. I think it's super underrated. The fact that like, there's not a lot of talk about Hatching Pete. I love Hatching Pete. It's a great movie. I think if we're talking, just more Disney movies, I grew up like the High School Musicals, the Camp Rock, all this other stuff. That all those Disney, type flicks. I liked them. They were all pretty cool. I do think that Disney, if you're talking about like the Disney animated movies, if you're going real old school, I like The Little Mermaid, believe it or not, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, the original Snow White, and the Seven Dwarfs. I mean, all those are great and stuff like that. I think Wreck-It Ralph is more of it's not a Pixar, it's Disney, but like even Wreck-It Ralph. I like Wreck-It Ralph. I don't really like Frozen, to be honest. I never got into it like everyone else did, but I like Wreck-It Ralph. The first one specifically where he's falling down to the Coca-Cola volcano and he says, and he's repeating, I'm the villain's quotes, the bad guy quote or whatever, and he says, I'm bad and that's good. There'll never be anybody more bad than me, and that's a good thing. There's no one I'd rather be than bad or whatever, and then smashes into it as if he was about to die, and he looks at the necklace that Vanellope von Schweetz gave him. That scene just... So good. John C. Reilly, hell yeah, that's awesome. Um, but that new Spider-Man movie is gonna be fire. Yes, it is. Oh my god, there's some new clips of like William Dafoe on a glider, like as the Goblin. I'm like, what the? There's another thing where like Alfred Molina as Doc Ock goes, "You just what happened to my machine, or what'd you do to my machine?" And I'm like, "Are you talking about the machine from the second Spider-Man?" I'm just geeking out over all this stuff. That's crazy. And believe it or not, there is a soundtrack that came out for Spider-Man, and I posted it in the Discord like yesterday, this morning, whatever. I don't know when I did it, but it was yesterday. There was a soundtrack that came out that not Danny, Michael Giacchino, I think his name is. He is doing the score for the movie, and there's a soundtrack number 19 that's called Unite, and it has Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's original Spider-Man themes in the track. Confirmation that they're showing up. But I listened to the soundtrack and I got goosebumps. I almost passed out because it was so beautiful just to listen to. I'm gonna cry. Honestly, I'm gonna cry. Not because it's sad. It might be, but not because it's sad. Not because it's like just the most beautiful thing. It's just gonna be. I ain't gonna believe that I'm gonna like the Spider-Man I grew up with. I loved Tobey Maguire. I loved Andrew Garfield too. I related so much to the character that Peter Parker. You know, a lot of people give shit that Peter Parker's whatever. That Andrew Garfield Peter Parker I related to. I was that skateboarding kid who fucking listened to Coldplay and fucking, you know, was awkward, didn't get along, was, you know, taking pictures, you know, for the school. And I was exactly that kid in high school. I mean, I relate to that Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker. I relate to that. But and then Tom Holland's just amazing. All three of them being on screen, I'm gonna cry. I'm just gonna cry, and it's gonna be a nonstop tear fest. It ain't gonna be pretty. I'm gonna be so unattractive at that moment. So yeah. Favorite Pixar movie? Mine is WALL-E. Ooh, WALL-E's a good one. I won't say my favorite Pixar movie because like I just don't have a favorite. There's so many good ones out there. I will name 3. WALL-E's one of them. This is my top 3. Don't know in what order. WALL-E, Ratatouille. I just can't get over Ratatouille. Ratatouille is just such an amazing fucking film. I just can't get over it. And then The Incredibles. I was picked between Toy Story 2 or The Incredibles. It's The Incredibles, I'm sorry. So those are my top 3. WALL-E, Ratatouille, and The Incredibles. I don't know which one's my favorite. I love almost every Pixar movie. I don't really like Brave that much, but like there's like a few that I don't like. I don't like Inside Out that much. The newest Toy Story 4 was okay. I like old school Pixar. That's kind of more my preference, but yeah. Thanks for the question, though. TJV, do you like Sinbad, Atlantis, or Treasure Planet? Atlantis. Were you a Cartoon Network or Adult Swim watcher? Cartoon Network, yes. Ed, and Eddie, I think was on there. Adult Swim, you got your Family Guy, Cleveland Show, Robot Chicken. I watched that a little bit. There was that pink dog, and then you hear that one person, the slime. I don't know what that is, but that was on Cartoon Network. I liked that. There was like a couple other shows too. Yeah, I was a Cartoon Network person. Yeah, for sure. Courage the Cowardly Dog. That's it. Thank you so much for letting me know that. I appreciate it. Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog. I was so obsessed with that show, and it scared the fuck out of me as a kid, but I was just like, I couldn't get over it. Couldn't get over it. Not at all. I couldn't get over it. Return the slide. Yep. Alright, people are getting it. People are getting it. Futurama. I didn't really watch Futurama a lot, but it was okay. What about Gravity Falls? I have seen Gravity Falls. My little brother preferred Gravity Falls, but then I got hooked on it because my little brother was constantly doing that too. That was a lot too, yeah. But regardless, thank you guys all for tuning in this stream. I am going to call it quits here. I do think I need a nap today. I'm turning old. I mean, I'm starting to have gray. Actually, there was some white hairs in my beard before I shaved and stuff like that, and I noticed it. I feel like I'm going to be one of those people who get gray hairs at an earlier age, but I don't know. TJV vaping bad, stop. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Look up Ed and Eddie as Avengers on YouTube. I'll look that up after the stream and stuff like that. I'm gonna avoid copyright or anything else just in case that is the case. But if it's not, I'll just look it up after the stream. Appreciate the recommendation though, Major. But yeah, Tom and Jerry. Oh my God, Tom and Jerry too. We could literally sit here and talk for hours. Like I do want to go to like take a nap, but we could sit here and talk for hours. So I do appreciate though. TJV, you're old, Lamau, for real, white hair dope. I should just like have all my hair's a mess right now, but I should just make all my hair gray. I mean, I'm kind of having that like receding shit happening. You see that shit? That is not attractive at all. Just put all my hair down. Like, I'm gonna have to start doing that. Hide it. Like, that looks... I look like fucking Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. Floyd. Oh my God, that is terrible. This is why I wear hats, you know? It's just, I just look so much better with a hat. At TJV, weren't we supposed to go over what I sent? Yes, we can do that real quick. Real Phil Games. Thanks for using my topic. No problem at all. Have a quick discussion. 1 second. I cannot hear you. They can probably hear you, but I can't. Give me 1 second. Alright, go ahead.
Okay, everybody can hear me? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, the thing I pretty much sent you, which you say that a lot of people have, and funny enough, I also sent this to Sen during one of Crow's streams, like, regarding, like, this whole shit with Ohm. And it pretty much brings up a very valid point. And the funny thing is, I didn't have to dig deep to find this. Like, you want to know how I originally found this? Is I initially just typed in, like, you know, can Twitter give you private information of other users and, like, other variations of that. Well, a lot of them pretty much pointed to the same place. And I eventually stumbled upon this page for the Twitter's guideline for law enforcement, which I thought was actually very important. Especially for one particular part where it says requests for Twitter account information, which is what we're going to be going over if you already don't have that pulled up yet.
I have it pulled up.
Okay, so we're just going to read through some of this, right? So, requests for Twitter account information. Requests for user account information from law enforcement should be directed to Twitter Inc. in San Francisco, California, or Twitter International Company in Dublin, Ireland. Twitter responds to valid legal process issued in compliance with applicable law. Pretty standard stuff. Here's where it gets interesting. Private information requires a subpoena or court order. Non-public information about Twitter users will not be released to law enforcement except in response to appropriate legal process such as a subpoena, court order, other valid legal process, or in response to a valid emergency request as described below. So from this, we can already establish that Twitter will not give this information out even to law enforcement unless they are given a particular legal, process or whatever you want to call it.
And what's the argument you're trying to make?
Well, here's my question to you, Trevor. If Twitter is not able to even give this to law enforcement, what makes people believe that they would give it to a random YouTuber like Ohmwrecker?
So what information was given to Ohmwrecker?
Well, it could be like, because you said like, that supposed email reveals that like Delirious was attached to the Ray Harpy account and others one, which, yeah, that has been confirmed that he is attached to some, but the Ray Harpy one in particular is one that we still don't have any valid proof of that.
So I'm asking the same question again because it wasn't answered. What information did Twitter give to Ohmwrecker?
Basically, the information that could say, like, that Delirious was actually behind that. Like, it actually shows, like, with that kind of private information. Which, with this leaves with two possibilities.
What, again, it's not really being. You're saying that Twitter is claiming that Delirious is these accounts, but what specifically, what information is being given?
What information? You know, obviously I'm not a legal expert, so I'm just going off of what I personally understand. Like, so
Okay.
there are some things I might get wrong, so don't fully quote me on this. But just from basic understanding,
You're on the internet.
I
You're
assume-
definitely going to be quoted. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying. I see this argument come up a lot, and this is why I responded in the beginning of the stream the way I did. A lot of people have brought this up already, and the only argument that people can make is that if there was private information shared from one account that was private, that nobody else could find out, this information, that it was completely private. That's talking about, like, personal information about the user, credentials entered in, yada yada, passwords, emails, whatever. That would be private. That would be private information.
Yeah,
now, was any of that shared
thing
or said it was shared with Ohmwrecker? Yes or no?
that I cannot tell you because obviously I never talked to Ohm. Obviously,
Okay,
and that's kind of the thing
but why
I
are
wanted to
you
talk
bringing
with you
this
about
up
that
if you
email.
don't even know if private information is shared or not? Like, can't you just assume any information that Ohm got is public or was going to be public anyway? So, for an example, Delirious being blocked for whatever X reason, that is public. The moment he gets banned or whatever like that, or blocked or suspended, that is now public information that he is now blocked and suspended. The reasoning why isn't any private information about the Twitter user. So, for example, this specifically says right here, private information requires a subpoena or court order. Down below it says non-public information about Twitter users. Okay, so specifically about the Twitter users, there's nothing that is being shared privately about Delirious. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. And I actually did get a little help off source. I won't name who for just out of respect. But they told me that Twitter told him he used burner phones. Twitter confirmed to him those accounts were H2O. IP address trying to help as watching the live. Which I will thank you for that person who sent me this. Again, won't name who out of respect. But yeah, that was pretty much
where
was
did you
by
get
Ohmwrecker.
information that, like, you said IP addresses were shared?
Didn't Ohmwrecker say in one of your streams, like when he was like commenting a lot, saying that like Ohmwrecker, like he got the information like regarding the Delirious, like with burner phones and VPNs and all this other stuff?
I don't
Wouldn't that be
I
classified
don't
as
know.
private information?
Well, if they revealed the IP address, but going off of a Ohm could just be speculating at that point. I don't know if he has made those claims. I think they do need to be made. I do think I would need to address Ohm in that if he was making those claims that he knew the IP addresses. But as far as I know, my conversation with him when I interviewed him in private about it, when he shared the email and I seen the email he got from Twitter, there was nothing Twitter was doing breaking policy by talking to him the way he was. Because literally Twitter will do that with anybody that they work with on reports. They say the same information for every single report. Everybody who files a report will get the same information back every single time. And Twitter has been doing this for a long time. They're not breaking their own policies. So I don't know what the point of this is, because I get it, you're trying to prove a point that like, oh, Ohmwrecker can't have that sensitive information, Twitter could be at fault, or Ohmwrecker could be at fault, or whatever, or Ohm's lying because Twitter wouldn't do this. But what you're showing me is, oh yeah, that's even more proof that what Twitter sent was okay to be sent. So you're kind of doing the opposite than what your goal seems to be.
And that I can understand, but that isn't what I'm trying to do. But basically just from this, and like I said, I'm not a legal expert, but just from reading from this basically off, this means one of two things: that either A, Ohmwrecker does indeed have somebody at Twitter who's illegally giving him this information if there is private stuff, essentially.
But there is no private stuff.
Chilled
Venom even brought up burner phones and IPs were brought up by Ohm, but I think that is a separate type of source, probably the authorities have involved. Yes, because Ohm's been working with authorities, and the whole idea of VPNs and IPs and burner phones were brought up way before the Twitter account was even suspended. Ohm has been saying this clear back since May. He's been bringing this stuff up for a while, so he wasn't addressing the burner phones, the IPs, and the VPNs to like the exact Twitter harassment and stuff. He's been bringing that up for a long time. So like what you're bringing up has never been a full-on claim, I think, from Ohm. If it has been, then that's something I would address, but it even doesn't even, well, it hasn't even been that sort of thing. So I think I don't know what other reason is to keep bringing up, oh, this is Twitter policy. I mean, but like, it doesn't, somebody still, people...
At the very least, I just think it was very important to go over, and I especially remember when I sent it to Sen and Crow and them, that they actually kind of said this, like, yeah, like, if there was especially private information that's being put out there, there's really just no way that Ohm would legally have this information. In which one comment here to you actually says it here best. Ohm has confirmed in multiple streams that Twitter was the one who gave him the info, burner phones, IPs, and email addresses.
Send me those streams, because I've never seen any stream. My name Toy Bounties stream, for example. Well, again, send me that stream and a timestamp to where he says that information. Screenshot in the chat if he said it in the chat and sent it over. But again, whatever you ended up seeing, you know, is probably an assumption or something else Ohm has been doing for a long time, which is probably hurting him right now. It's stuff like this where people are going to look at every little thing he says and be like, oh, well, you said this, you said that. Again, if he claims specifically, yes, I got it from Twitter, then that is something we can start to talk about, have a discussion. Now, if you're just talking about, it says it in this policy, and Ohm has been saying about IPs and burner phones and all that stuff, they could be talking about two completely different things, like Chilled Venom brought up. Ohm bringing up a burner phone and IPs along with the alts is a summary of everything. Doesn't mean it all came from one source, lol. Exactly. So again, he can say that, oh, Delirious was using burner phones and IPs and VPNs for the multiple Twitter accounts, but it doesn't mean he got all of his information from Twitter. He could be working with authorities, and authorities could have said, okay, he doesn't have the same IP address on all those accounts, because all those accounts have different IP addresses. So the authorities could come to the conclusion, oh, he could be using burner phones and IPs, and that's where Ohm is saying it, and that's where Ohm is getting carried away and typing in chats about this stuff. It probably isn't even from Twitter, because from the email I saw, there was nothing in there about IP addresses, there was nothing in there about burner phones, there was nothing in there about VPNs. From the email I saw, I never saw any of that.
Email up. Sorry to cut you off, but that's also something I kind of wanted to bring up as well, like regarding the whole email that Ohm showed you. Because isn't it a little suspicious that he only screen shared it to you and he told you not to screen cap it or even send it to you? Like, don't you think that's a little bit suspicious?
No, because he told me why he didn't want to do it, and it kind of makes sense to me. But it doesn't make sense to a lot of people.
What exactly was the reason?
Because he doesn't want this to leak online.
But a lot of the stuff that would interpret like an investigation, if there was one going on, he's kind of already put everything on full blast, so isn't that a little redundant at this point?
Again, we could speak a lot to like Ohm's character and his actions and all this other stuff, and if that's what you want to talk about, that's fine. I mean, also, I can't really tell him to leak it, and I don't have the power to leak it. The whole idea on the whole terms was he's willing to share it with me if I don't go out and leak this stuff. The only thing I can do is talk about what I saw. That's the only sort of a leak that I could say or do. And at the very end, if Ohm wanted to sit here and say, oh, TJV's crazy, I never showed him anything, then I would be the one at fault at this for the end of the day. It was more of a risk that I told him, hey, if you actually have proof of something, share it, and I would argue on your behalf and say, hey, Ohm's telling the truth on this, because you've been wrong about everything, you've been fucking lying, and literally you're going to keep going down this fucking rabbit hole, no pun intended, and you're never going to get out. But if you actually believe Delirious did this thing and you have proof, show it to me so I can speak upon that. And he finally showed me, but he says, okay, I don't want this email leaked. He's claiming he doesn't want to burn bridges with Twitter and the people he's been working at with Twitter. If he ever needs to report Delirious again, he wants to have the opportunity, but if he feels like what he explained to me is if he ends up leaking that information, that Twitter's no longer going to want to be in communication if their DMs, if their emails can't be private. And that's probably true, I assume. But again, at the same time, I do think he should leak the email, because it would shut up a lot of the naysayers saying, oh, the email isn't real, even though Liz Katz and Delirious confirmed it. Liz Katz and Delirious confirmed it was real, because they confirmed multiple accounts that I've been saying were Delirious because of the email. And I didn't just pull that out of my ass. I didn't just all of a sudden believe Ohm. You know, look at my history. It makes no sense for me just to randomly believe Ohm and, you know, do the quote-unquote 180 that I did. I saw the email. It listed those accounts. I said those accounts were Delirious. Liz and Delirious come out like a month and a half later saying, yep, that was Delirious. it's kind of a good assumption that the email's real. But again, if people don't believe it, then that's why I'm hoping Ohm eventually releases the email to prove it's real. But again, that's up to Ohm to do, not me.
Yeah, and we're not saying that, like, it's up to you to release that email, but it's like, if a lot of stuff with the email, if it is particularly true, then why isn't Ohm just saying all this stuff? Because one can assume, I'm not saying this is happening, obviously, with all due respect, one can easily assume that, Ohmwrecker could just be showing you something that's completely fabricated and is just letting you believe that it actually is real, essentially using you as a scapegoat. I'm not exactly saying that's the case, obviously, again, but one can't assume that. Which is, I can probably understand why some people are upset with you, which I'm not saying I am personally, but I can understand why some. Also, while this was going, you were talking about all that, I was sent a lot of screenshots for some things that did say in your streams, which I will be sending to you right now. Just let me get them all in the same message, because thank God Discord updated to where we can post multiple cuts, like screenshots or whatever, at the same time instead of one at a time like it used to. And we're just gonna be looking at these because this has confirmed that yes, the Ohmwrecker has said this stuff. So here you go, and have fun with these.
These suspensions were not done via reporting. He had half a dozen alts suspended, including the one that threatened Sarah's newborn baby. Delirious was server junkie now. The first screenshot has absolutely nothing to do. Same claims we've seen forever. Delirious has no choice but to stay off Twitter. Don't worry about that. Delirious is lying and whitewashing again, just like he did about Brie Lynn. That was no prank. Had absolutely nothing to do with spam. Second screenshot has absolutely nothing to do with what we were talking about and has no other gain besides random Ohmwrecker claims we've seen for a while. Communicating with Twitter direct. Investigations has been going on for months. He did use VPNs, fake emails, burner phones, numbers, and even virtual machines. Communications with Twitter direct. Investigations have been going on. The comment there kind of separates it. He could be talking about investigation with police. Again, there's nothing specified, but maybe Ohmwrecker will reach out to me and I'll get it more direct. My assumption is it's investigations with authorities or whatever, like Chilled Venom suggested. Want one? Look at one who sees zero. Many more beyond that, each with fake email names, burner phones. Again, could be tied to authorities. I have no idea yet. It's literally the result of months-long Twitter investigation. There is proof. It's why they suspended him despite him having Twitter gaming contract and 4.4 million followers. And then the suspension was initiated from the top levels of Twitter. Again, all information that he's okay with having, and him knowing, okay, Delirious was this account and those accounts being suspended at the same time became public information. Nothing here is being said that it's private or anything like that. The only thing that you can allude to would be the VPNs, fake emails, burner phones. That would be the only thing that you could really pinpoint out being, okay, if Twitter gave him the email address, the IP addresses, the VPNs, the whatever, the burner phones or whatever, that's something. But to say that, hey, this, happened or whatever from a regular investigation from authorities or anything, or if Twitter and authorities are working together, which we have little to no idea if that's actually happening, then it's all fine. Then any information Ohmwrecker got, he got, and it's his choice to release it or not. If he releases it, he'll probably fuck up the investigation, and that's on him. But it ain't against Twitter policy or breaking the law in any sort of way. I don't see how these screenshots prove anything. Again, we would just need more clarification from Ohm. But even then, by me sitting here saying he's possibly fucking jeopardizing up an investigation, would that even get Ohm to clarify any of this, or is he just going to leave this to us to speculate? You might sit here and speculate that Twitter broke their policy and shared private information. I don't think that at all, anything is very specific or clarified here. Again, these are probably in response to other things to get people to be like, oh, yep, there's a Twitter investigation going on. When Twitter does their own investigation, Ohm is not caught up on everything in the loop. He gets follow-ups on, hey, we're investigating this, yada, yada, yada. Ohm's not involved in investigating and doing any of that stuff because Twitter doesn't allow that stuff. And the email that I saw clearly showed that Ohmwrecker was receiving updates, but he was not involved in creating updates on any of that.
And how were you certain that, a lot of that stuff can be trusted? Like, that's ultimately my question.
What stuff can be trusted?
And I'm sure a lot of people are wondering the same thing.
What stuff can be trusted?
How... like the kind of like that whole thing that Ohm showed you, like all this, like how are we certain that any of this is legit? Because The other thing I want to point out too is when Toy Bounty
What?
Hunter was on your stream and he asked you specifically, was Ray Harpy like one of those accounts that specifically said that in the email, in the writing, and you blatantly said no. But all these other times, including now, you're saying yes. So was that a slip up on your end, or is there something?
Again, you're gonna have to pull up the stream. I've been told a lot that I said no to the Ray Harper account. If I did say no, I could have misheard him or whatever. But I've gotten told that a lot, saying, "Oh, you said no to the Ray Harper account's not in the email, but now you're saying it is or whatever." The Ray Harper account, Survey Junkie Now account, was listed in the email, and I've said that like continuously over and over again for the last ever since the email came out. I've said it 1,000 times, yes. So if there was a time where Toy Bounty Hunter was on and I said no, I think he referred to a different account, because the Survey Junkie Now and the Ray Harper account for a while has been confused as two separate accounts, but they're the same account. So I don't know specifically if what it was stream. Again, the stream will have to be brought up to see if I can remember what time it was or whatever, but there might be confusion on if they're the same account or not. But after some clarification was cleared up and stuff like that, maybe there's something. Again, I don't think that I don't think I intentionally sat here and said no, I did not see that. It was more of a wait, what account? No, I don't think that account was listed or whatever. So again, we'll have to be able to be pulled up.
Yeah, Chilled Venom even said, you did indeed say no, that is true, and Grim Reaper saying, we can pull it up if you want to. Yeah, if you can, definitely, because I've been trying to...
I don't know what stream that's going to be on or what that is. Again, if you timestamp it, send it to me, I'd have no problem pulling it up.
I want to say it was your stream, Victim releases her side, Liz Cat's telling the truth for lying. It might have been that one, I don't know.
Are you talking about a 3-4 hour stream that we're going to have to constantly look through the entire time? Or, because again...
I know somebody did have the timestamp. I know there was somebody who actually did. I just don't remember who exactly it was at the top of my head. But I do know they did have the timestamp, and they actually sent it to Sen, actually, and they actually played that little clip on one of his streams, I think.
Yeah, Chilled Venom says at TJV they went under the Ray Harpy, and when the baby was threatened and converted it to a spam account to hide its tracks, and then it turned into the Survey Junkie Now account. Yes, but that I think that was a confusion point at one point, and that might have been during the Toy Bounty Hunter stream. And I could have said no to one of the names and thinking, okay, the other name is the account I'm talking about, but they're actually the exact same account. So that's probably what you're talking about, but again, I've covered that several times before in previous live streams, that there might have been some confusion or whatever there. But regardless, what is the thing that you're trying to bring up with the policy thing?
The policy thing is pretty much that, is,
No, but you brought it up, though, for what, though? That was the main reason you hopped on and everything, though.
Mainly just to go over that and see that for people who might not have seen this before, they have an understanding of how this works.
But that exact same policy has been brought up several times now.
Which is fair, but it's just have this in the back of your head, that kind of thing. I'm not trying to dictate to try to say oh, this is confirmation or whatever, but it's this is out there, and it's actually said by Twitter themselves. This is something just to keep in mind.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like the same thing that's been constantly brought up over and over again.
Grim Reaper, 15025. Which stream was that?
Victim releases her side, you said?
I was thinking. I said that might have been it. Was it that one in particular?
I think I have it here. Let me see. Do believe me, and who do sit here and say, yeah, not line up with what sides onto Ohm's side. Why the fuck would I ever do that? Oh no, that's just me talking about Ohmwrecker, or whatever. That's not it.
Yeah, Grim Reaper, I think you'll have to specify which stream that was, because I think I do remember that being a certain time stamp. I just don't remember which stream that was.
Yeah.
But I do especially remember you saying that, because I was watching the stream when you did say that.
Again, so we're now saying the policy thing doesn't matter now, or what? Just so we can have a conclusion on that.
No, it does matter in a sense, but it's like, do keep this in mind because, it does leave with two possibilities that, could have somebody at Twitter who's illegally giving them this information, potentially causing corporate espionage, or two, which is the one I personally am leaning more towards, is just pulling us out of his ass. Like, it's just that simple.
And those are the only two possibilities.
Yes. Like,
so it has to be either somebody at Twitter is breaking the law and something that they can be sued for, and that person can be fired, and Twitter could be under fire for all of this, or Ohm is lying again. Those are the only two possibilities in the entire world that could be happening right now.
From how I personally see it, yes.
Even after all those Twitter accounts were suspended, and you could possibly believe that maybe Ohm was just, you can't come to a conclusion that there's a possibility maybe Ohm was just right about something. Like, that possibility is completely out the window. You could not believe that.
Was he right about some of them, like some of the accounts that LizCat's like listed? Yeah. Like, but as far as like the Ray Harpy one, because that's the stinger right here. I don't really believe that we have enough solid evidence or proof that it's connected to Delirious.
I agree, but you're saying with the policy thing that's the entire thing, and the entire claim that has been made has been the whole emails back and forth between Twitter and Ohmwrecker, and for Ohm to know anything about that. And when I first came out with the email, LizCats and Delirious never came out about Delirious having alt accounts. So like when I sat here and said, hey, Delirious does have alt accounts, this is a real thing, happening right now. He has these alt accounts, he's been harassing people, he's been doing this, stooping down to these levels, and everybody's making the exact same claim. Oh, that email's fake. Oh, Ohm is lying. Oh, Twitter's lying. Oh, somebody at Twitter is working with Ohm and stuff like that. You can't just come to the conclusion maybe Delirious does have alt accounts and he's doing this problem, and then he comes out to admit it. LizCats actually does, and then he admits it in one of my live streams. Yes, I stooped down to that level. I made alt accounts, and then that was proven right. At that point, you can't accept that Ohm was just right about the alt accounts. It has to be the Ohm's lying, or the Twitter person is breaking the law, and Twitter is at fault here.
Like I said before, and listen very carefully when I say this. Am I saying that Ohm was right about some of them? Yes, I will admit that one.
Okay.
But about the particular one with Ray Harpy, personally, I don't think so. Because again, we still really do not have any solid evidence or proof that Ray Harpy was connected to Delirious. That's what I'm trying to get at here. For the ones that were listed by LizCats, I can believe.
Okay, so the Ray Harper account, you just don't have enough proof yet, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait for that. But how does that tie at all with the policy thing?
That for Ohm to even have this information, that he would have had to go to court and have like a court order made to Twitter to give him that information.
Okay.
Like, that's the kind of thing.
Okay, so are you believing that's the case, or that's not the case?
It could be. Like I said, either if he really did do this, which I personally don't think he did. I'm just saying, like, me personally, I don't think he did actually go through the hassle through this, because really, if all this stuff was true, then like, why would any of this even be happening to begin with a lot of the stuff?
I mean,
which again, it very much, and it takes into consideration with Ohmwrecker's court case with High Voltage, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people here do remember that in particular. He kind of has a history for repeated like behavior and a lot of the stuff.
And what behavior is repeated from that to this?
Oh, for a lot of things, really, like, hanging on to information for years and everything, like, and not.
Well, when you're involved with the law and stuff like that, it is very important to keep that stuff. I don't think that's necessary, unless you're trying to attack every single person who's held on to information for years and have to potentially go back to court. I mean, the court they didn't settle things till years after the court case was done, so it was a good thing for him to hold on to that information. But you're criticizing that because he's just holding on to information for too long?
Well, mainly because a lot of it was related to quote-unquote sexual harassment, for one thing, because he was explicitly told that the first time it happened, he was told by his HR person that if it were to happen again, to report it immediately, and he never did. He held on to that for years until for maybe not years, but for however long it was, until the court case happened. Most likely because he wanted to pretty much use that. Like, this has all been covered by Crow and them, honestly.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I covered it too. But you're criticizing a guy because he never went to HR at an old job almost 20 years ago.
I mean, let's be real. If I was in that situation, like, I would bring it up to my HR immediately. I wouldn't just sit there and just like let it culminate.
So this now we're talking about 20 years ago. You know, a guy not going to his HR guy, and that somehow ties to he's a liar, manipulator, evil guy, yada yada yada. This is what we're doing. You know.
If anything, it just shows that he just really hasn't changed over these years.
Okay, I get that. All right, so let me tell you this real quick. So, do you believe Ohmwrecker has been reaching for a lot of stuff? Like, some of the claims he's been doing is just it's just reaching way too far. You know, he's reaching way too far.
In my honest opinion, at least personally speaking, I would say yes. I feel like a lot of the stuff is either just fabricated or is just completely out there.
Okay, and do you think it's kind of bogus for him to completely reach from something from so long ago, and you know, something so little and so small that probably doesn't even matter and shouldn't have focused a lot of time on? Do you think that's that kind of dumb of him to do?
Honestly, I would say yes. Like,
okay. And do you also know what hypocrisy is too?
Well, obviously.
Okay, so you know that you're, you know, being a giant hypocrite and all this by saying that that's dumb, that he's far-reaching, that, you know, he's, you know, reaching for all this small stuff, but you're doing the same thing of him doing it 20 years ago. Like, this is kind of what I thought people could focus less on, and you're reaching so far back that, oh, Ohmwrecker never talked to his HR guy when he was told to do it. Well, now that means he's a bad guy in this whole thing. I mean, I get it, repeated history, but you got to kind of be on the nose for that for people to understand that and have that make sense. This just sounds completely far-fetched and not worthy to talk about at all. Like, I get it. If you want to open up a channel and make a live stream, a podcast, whatever, and you want to focus on this for a while, go right ahead. I just think far-fetching this sort of thing from a long time ago and this huge hate train for Ohmwrecker is something that I just don't think it's really worthy of talking about. And by you bringing up the Twitter policy and all these, you know, live stream comments with no context behind them, it's just, you know, the screenshots, take every word literal because that's the only thing that we have, and then try to tie that to anything else that has happened before, like 20 years ago, that something to do with him no longer talking, or he never reported it to his HR guy, and him holding information for years for a court case, which he should hold things and have things noted and documented for years, especially if the case is still going on for years. It seems like you're kind of reaching for a lot of this stuff, and I think it's a huge waste of time.
I mean, and if I'm wrong about this stuff, then I'm wrong. You know, it's very simple as that.
So,
you know, I'm just going off of like based off what I have seen and what I personally believe based off of that. You know, it's very simple. Also, we did Grim Reaper did point out which stream it was. It was the Science Sarah drama again live stream, and it's at what was the timestamp again? At 2:59:15.
Cy and Sarah. 2 what?
Hold on, let me look at it again. 2:59:15.
Okay, right here, I got it.
To the H2O Delirious main Twitter account. Did it say that in writing specifically that?
No. So let me back up. Let me see what he specifically
These
asked.
accounts, okay? These accounts are tied to the H2O Delirious main Twitter account. Did it say that in writing specifically that?
No. So he asked specifically, did it say all these alt accounts are specifically tied to this H2O Delirious main account? Is it specifically tied? And did it specifically say that in writing? And I said no. Now watch what I say right after.
You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm getting at with this, right?
Yeah, but after reviewing the email and stuff like that, and the email thread that they had, it's very clear that they were tying them together. But if you're talking about the really like dumb brain cell people won't understand it and won't make the connection, I'm not worried about that.
See, but that's the thing.
So they talk about those alt accounts being in the email, saying that yes, these alt accounts are harassment, and saying yes, these alt accounts are being used by the same user, but they're not specifically saying these alt accounts are tied directly to the H2O Delirious main account. So I even correct right afterwards what I said, but I answered his question and left a pause there. So if anybody wanted to take that clip out of context and be like, oh, yep, he lied, those alt accounts aren't listed in the email, that's not true. That all those alt accounts are listed in the email along with Delirious's account and saying that, hey, yes, all these accounts are being used, but at the same time not saying these accounts are being directly tied in writing specifically like he asked. So again, I don't know what you're trying, like, even that was being brought up, and I was like, hey, if I did say by accident that they're not the same account, my bad. But he didn't even mention the Ray Harpy account. He just said those other alt accounts. So I don't know where you're getting at, Dark Spectra, or if that's how you say your name. I don't know what you're...
most people just call me Dark.
Okay, Dark. I don't know what you're getting at, what other people are getting at. You know what I mean? And yes, I'm wearing the same shirt that I was in that stream, by the way.
I'll be honest, I'm not exactly the greatest when it comes to explaining things, especially by myself. You know, like, I don't want to pull, like, the disability card, like, I really don't want to, because I don't want to make that seem like it's a crutch, but, you know, with kind of like how I've kind of grew up with, I've never really been the greatest to explain things right, like, the correct way, you know. I might say some things that are incorrect, or even things like that, you know. I'm not exactly the greatest at that. But I think at the end of it all, and I think you can agree with this, like, this whole situation between Ohm and Delirious is just really out of hand. Like, it's gotten really out of hand, and it's gone on for far too long.
I mean, maybe, but like, let's get back to what you were claiming though. Like you said specifically, I claim that the Ray Harpy account is not listed in the email.
Yeah, because from that, it seemed like you pretty much said, like, you know, that it wasn't connected to Delirious. Which, you know, seeing that now that could have been taken out of context, and
so who did you hear that from? Who did you hear that from to have that claim? Did you come up with that claim yourself, or is somebody else saying it? Because I've had a lot of people in my comments saying, hey, you specifically said the Ray Harpy account's not in there. Who did you hear from?
Mainly from watching it myself. Like, I do hear, like, from other sources, sure, but I like to listen to, like, a lot of different sides of things before coming up with my personal opinion about it.
So what side of things did you hear that specifically talked about me saying that, though? Because again, like I said, we just pulled up the clip and the clip says otherwise. So what are you hearing that from? Because again, if we just find out who's coming up with these lies and coming up with this, now we can figure out, okay, which side is going to be more trustworthy and credible to go to compared to not being trustworthy and credible. Because if you're going to continue to listen to these sides who you're saying, hey, TJV said this, don't listen to this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I pull up a clip to, you know, this directly defends exactly what I said right here. I answer the question truthfully. Does it specifically say that in writing? Well, no, it doesn't. It says some other words tacked on here and there with it too. But yes, it's alluding that those accounts are the exact same from the best of my knowledge from what I've seen. And Ohmwrecker has came on multiple times in live streams and stuff like that to say exactly what I've said that was in the email. So, again, if you know who is saying this, call them out on that sort of thing. And if you don't, and you just want to blindly trust it, then you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're in a live stream, such as mine right now, where you're going to try to pull up multiple claims like you have, like with the high voltage thing, the Twitter policy thing that you think is something big to look at when it really isn't. The whole, I'm saying that the Ray Harpy account and the Ohmwrecker account is not the same. I said it once before. Even Chilled Venom said that I said it, but now I didn't. So, like, again, you're finding yourself in a situation where, like, what else are you going to say here that it's really worthy of bringing up? And I don't mean to shit on you at all, but, like, this is stuff I've been going over with, I've been talking about, and I've been seeing people talk about for months and months. You know, it's going to be approaching a year in a couple months. You know, I kind of know what I did say, you know, and sometimes if I have a slip-up, I don't mind bringing that up, but there was no slip-up brought up. There's nothing that I missed. There's nothing. I've covered all this information you're talking about before. There's nothing new to talk about. We're literally rehashing the same thing over and over again.
And that I can definitely understand where that's coming from. And like I said, like, my intention wasn't to come in here and be like, oh, like, no, you're this big old liar and all that. Like, no. it's just one of those things, like, you know, this is kind of things I looked at myself and I thought it was noteworthy to look at because, you know, maybe this can open a few eyes to people, like, so that way it's like, no, just not narrow-sighted with some of the things. It's like, take these things in consideration. You know, these are here for a reason, for one thing, and, you know, really it's just think about what's going on with a lot of this stuff, really.
Okay.
And like I said though, like, at the end of the day, and again, I'm pretty sure you can agree with this. This whole thing has just gone on for far too long, with people that are getting involved when they really shouldn't be.
Okay, but is that including yourself though when you end up sending me
honestly,
a
yes,
Twitter
that
post?
does include myself.
Would you say an example of that would be you sending me this Twitter policy, something that's already been covered and talked about and stuff like that, and it literally brings nothing new to the table?
Yeah, honestly, yes. I am not exempt. I am not saying I'm not exempt.
Okay. Would you like to say anything else
Because
before I'm
I
closing
had
off the stream? Because I don't really think there's much else to talk about.
Yeah, but I did want to say one thing before, just about this whole Ohmwrecker thing in general, just because I was talking with a friend of mine, like, about a lot of this stuff, and he brought up a very good question that I want to ask to everybody involved in this, including you. So, why does any of this concern you, if this is between Ohm and Delirious purely?
Well, just the same thing that everybody else is saying at the exact same time. If somebody wants to bring up something and talk about it and have a discussion, they're more than welcome to. Like you did. You had every right to be able to come in here and do it, but I have every right to comment on what you're bringing up as well. Just like how you have the right to ask that question. Just like how you have the right to ask that question, I have the right to respond to that question. So
yeah, I'm not saying you're not.
No, but what the question that you're asking, or the question that somebody else brought up that you're referring to, is if you're trying to make that statement to get people to stop talking about it, you're literally telling them, hey, you do not have the freedom of speech to talk about it. That's what you're saying.
Okay, let me clarify. I'm not saying people shouldn't talk about it. Don't get me wrong about that. What I am saying is that people should not be going out of their way to try and act like they personally represent these people when, let's be fair, none of us really know who Delirious and Ohm are on a personal
But if they
level.
want to sit here and defend them, that's their freedom of speech. They have every right to do so.
And, you know, and again, like, that's fine and all, but don't go and act like you're, like, this enforcer for them. Like, that's all I'm pretty much trying to say with that.
And who are you specifically saying that to?
Just about anybody that's been, like, involved in this whole situation, be it, like, you know, talking about it on Twitter or whatever. Like, again, it's like, this is purely between Delirious and Ohmwrecker. Why does it concern you?
Well, just like how anything else that goes to the internet. I mean, if it involved Ohm and Delirious, why did Ohm and Delirious start pushing it all online? Why did Delirious spend several days and hours and stuff like that digging up stuff on Ohm and screenshots and then publish all over his Twitter? Why did he spend so much time typing up a twitlonger and posting that publicly online? Why did Ohmwrecker find all this information and do the exact same thing? Why did Wildcat do it?
And, you know, it could be for a number of reasons, and I personally think that they shouldn't have. They should have kept this all behind closed doors, like they really should have. But I feel like with a lot of stuff that's going on, especially with today's kind of online culture, that everything just had to be brought up for really no good reason. Like, when everything could easily just be settled behind closed doors. Which is why I'm pretty much at a point, it's like, you know, this whole thing is like, it's gone on for far too long. It's gotten way too ridiculous. It's just like, we just need to let it be, honestly, at this point. Again, that's just personally what I think. Again, I'm not saying that you can't talk about it. You can. It's just, again, just don't act like you're trying to enforce for these people that you really don't know who they are, is more or less what I'm trying to say.
Don't what?
You know, just don't try and act like you're being enforcers for either of these people.
Okay.
For basically two guys that you don't even know who they are, who most likely don't even know who you are. Like, let's be real about that.
Do you understand? Do you understand that you coming into the stream trying to argue against Delirious or Twitter and stuff like that made you seem like you were enforcing on behalf of Delirious and Liz?
If anything, I'm just stating my opinion on the matter and just how I personally think about it.
That's right. I'm not saying don't, but I'm saying, like, what you're saying kind of reflects on what your actions were when you first came into this call.
Well, that was not my intent. You know, if that came off, then I sincerely apologize. I wasn't trying to like.
It's
act
okay.
Like an
It's
enforcer for
okay.
Delirious in them.
It's
You know,
okay.
that wasn't my intent.
Again, I guess people just need to have an eye out for this. Just, you know, if somebody else has something to say, you have every right to dislike it. You have every right to respond to it any way that you would like to.
Yeah,
just understand that if you're going to start criticizing other people for speaking out about this or speaking about this, that's when you're going to fall into hypocrisy and stuff like that. And I want to be able to have as many people understand that as possible, because I've seen a lot of people tell me, hey, stop milking the drama, stop talking about it. Well, by you even making that comment in the first place, I have the same right as you do, and I can decide if I want to continue to talk about it or not. If I want to talk about Fruit Loops all damn day and how, you know, Fruit Loops are so much worse than Lucky Charms, I have every right to talk about that for the rest of my life, 24/7, and never stop. And nobody can tell me not to do that.
And that's the fair thing. That's honestly fair.
But
You know,
but
I'm not
but
saying-
but if I start getting criticism saying, "Hey, don't milk the drama," what would you do about that? Like, do you think that's fair for people to constantly tell me that, or do you think it's not? Because that's the problems I'm running into nowadays. Okay, they have the freedom of speech; so they can say, "Don't milk the drama," but how do I make them satisfied? How do I make them happy?
Let's be fair. We're gonna be fully honest. You can't satisfy everybody. Let's be real about that.
Right. So now you kind of understand that's kind of the situation I'm in, and I'm like, okay, well, Ohmwrecker has something to share, and I want to bring something new, so people are not constantly saying, hey, you're milking the drama, you're bringing nothing new. So when I do bring something new, be like, hey, Ohmwrecker shared me this. I believe it's true. That's my opinion, but you can have a different opinion, and then once I share it and have my information be shared, I'm getting hated on by all the Delirious and Liz Cats fan. And do you think that hate is just because I brought something new to the table now, but what is new to the table wasn't in favor of all those Delirious fans?
I think as long as they're willing to like discuss it civilly and like we are right now,
But-
you know.
But a lot
That
of them
should be
aren't.
fine.
But a lot of them aren't. It's been proven in my comments. I've gotten death threats before. I've shared my death threats around already to several people. I've reported them. Most of them I deleted too because they were just god awful. When Ohm fucking leaked my Facebook account, there's a lot of people, you know, specifically putting my mother's name in some of the death threats and stuff like that. Do you think any of that's fair?
Honestly, I would say no. Like, I don't condone. Obviously, I don't condone a lot of that stuff. Like, regardless of which side you're on, like that stuff should never be tolerated.
Right. Well, thank you very much. Do you want to say anything else before I end the stream?
I would just say, like, you know, just really just think about everything I've said. They might not have been like put correctly or anything like that. You know, I don't think I plan on talking about a lot of this more recently because I've been wanting to focus on a whole lot of other stuff. Just take what I said in consideration. And really think for yourselves, most importantly, and just don't condone anybody who's doing like very toxic behavior, like death threats and stuff. Like, just don't condone that.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. So, a little bit of a thing to tack on at the end of the stream, I guess. Again, Caffeinated Dumpling says that was a half an hour that was wasted listening. Well, I just got to say there was nothing really new brought to the table. That was just an example on what I ended up probably seeing in comment section a lot. Again, not trying to disrespect Dark or anything like that, but the things that he brought up is what people bring up all the damn time. And I'm like, I already talked about it. I'm sorry, but if I bring that up every time, I'm going to even get more you milking the drama. You keep bringing up old things, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And I can't address every single person. So I'll keep addressing stuff as it goes on. And if you guys have more questions about it, I'll cover it in a topic or live stream so I can keep it short, down to one topic, and I can move on to the next thing. But like I said before, I can't focus on it for half an hour at a time or an hour at a time or an entire live stream. I can't constantly keep doing that. I'm sorry, but I can't. So, for example, Dark really didn't bring anything new to the table. There was nothing new brought. Actually, he did bring something new. We got confirmation on that live stream that I did not say what people are claiming I said, you know, with Toy Bounty Hunter or whatever. So that's nice. That's nice, I guess. We kind of got that. But yeah. Thank you guys for being chill in the chat. Thank you guys for commenting in the chat. I really do appreciate it. And Major Scaz, I pinned your comment. It was kind of funny. Shows an email. H2O fans. It's not true. Later on, H2O and Liz confirmed the email. H2O fans, shock Pikachu face, but is still in denial. Yeah, exactly. Glad you guys all sticked around, though. Hopefully, we'll have some civil discussion down in the comment sections, but most likely not. There's still a ton of people who hate me. And my subscriber count keeps going down, so there must be a lot more people out there who just are stumbling across Liz's blocking of me or whatever, or maybe they're stumbling across like a commentary video that talks badly about me or whatever. But yeah, I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you guys for everything. Chilled Venom, hit me up. We should do a collab at some point. That would be awesome, because I haven't done a collab with the commentary channel in a long time. I think the last person I did was with Briz, and he skyrocketed. He's almost at 200,000 subscribers now, so I'm not on his level anymore. So I'm going to reach out to smaller commentary channels if you ever want to do a collab and stuff like that. Chilled Venom, if you want to do a collab, let's do a collab on a video or something like that. I think that would be dope. So hit me up. Thank you guys all. Leave a great comment down below. If somebody would like to timestamp this live stream, that would be incredibly helpful. I'll probably upload the clips tomorrow because I'm going to take a nap. And maybe just sleep for the rest of the night. I don't know. Might stay up for a little bit though. So yeah, go ahead, help me if you guys would like to help. Just timestamp down below. Also down in the description below is there's a tip link if you guys would like to send me money directly that I would be able to use right away. Send me a tip right down there, and that would be very grateful. I would be very grateful for that and all that other stuff. All the other links to everything else is down in the description below. I'll see you guys in the Discord and all that stuff. And thank you guys so much for being in the stream. I really do appreciate it. Until Friday will be the next stream. I will see you guys Friday. Bye bye.